And welcome to the Blue Line, your inside look at Penn State hockey here on WHBL. A new show for this season. We feel with a new arena, new conference, good-looking team this season. We have a new show. Mike Tressa joined alongside Andrew Callista. And Penn State's preparing this week for a tough Union team out of the ECAC. But we're going to take it back and look at their last opponent from 2 weeks ago, a team that made the Frozen Four last season.
That's right, Mike. UMass Lowell coming into Pegula, the preseason #1 ranked team out of the Hockey East Conference. But you know what? They've had some slip-ups along the way, down to 13th in the country. One of those losses to Sacred Heart, a team the Lions beat 3 weeks ago. So the Lions, they're looking to get a marquee win in Pegula in one of their biggest games to date.
But things didn't start off so great on the Thursday game. Penn State captain Tommy Olczyk skating beforehand, but it was the Riverhawks striking first under 2 minutes into the game. Started as a 1-on-4, ends with Adam Chappie in front, getting the goal past Matt Scoff, 1-0 lead, and Penn State can't be doing this against top teams. Taking unnecessary penalties, a scuffle against the boards, sends Zach Starr to the box, but the Lions would shut down every low power play in this game. More on that later, but UMass adds another one. Scott Wilson gets it in front, powers through, putting the rebound past Scoff. 2-0. Only 2 minutes later, UMass Lowell opens the game up. Derek Arnold off another deflect, puts it in. 3-0. The crowd out of this one at that point. Arnold would actually make things worse in the third, scoring another goal. Connor Hellbuck, the star, too, stops 37 shots in the shutout. Penn State unable to keep up with Lowell in the 4-0 loss.
I think they play a tremendous game. They really do. I mean, that coaching staff is grade A. They are. They're tremendous, and their team plays like it.
I'd say they're a really fast team. I mean, they play very well together. A couple of years ago they were in the Frozen Four, so I mean, they have a lot of chemistry and they play a solid game, I'd say, and they all work together.
The next night, things would get a bit better. Freshman Eamon McAdam making his first start at home. UMass Lowell, though, with a rude welcome on the attack. McAdam unable to secure the puck. Hawks get the early goal off the rebound from Joe Gambardella. Hawks up 1-0. But this time, Penn State's answers. Luke Yuha, shot deflected off the boards right to Scheid, who sneaks the equalizer past goalie Doug Carr, his team leading 4th goal of the season. Riverhawks, though, answer quickly under a minute later. A softie from Stephen Bucco off the boards for the lead. Look again, just take a look at this freak bounce right off the goalie McAdam's foot into the goal. Tough break for the freshman. 2-1, still in the first. Penn State penalty kill finally breaks, allowing Adam Chappie to score off another deflection. 3-1 Riverhawks. No scoring in the second, just a long delay to fix some broken glass. Fans loved it. Coach Godowski, he loved it. Third period, McAdam showing why the Islanders took him in the third round, making some great saves, keeping the Nittany Lions in this one. Then off a turnover, right in front of the net, right place, right time. David Goodwin, who one-times a pass Carr, making it 3-2 game, but Penn State can't get another chance and takes a hard-fought 3-2 loss, but much improvement from game 1 to game 2.
You know, I hate to say this, but you know, the coaching staff looks at this as a bit of a positive. I mean, I thought we played very, very well. I did. I thought there was a lot of things we did very, very well.
You know, we did a lot of good things. I think we had a little on our heels. We did a good job getting pucks behind the D. I think everyone, the last 30 minutes, everyone was buying into what the coach has been preaching. And I think once we finally put together 60 minutes of playing that kind of hockey, you know, there's not a team that we won't be able to compete with.
So here is where the Lions stand. 9 games into the season, 3-5-1. The power play numbers still good. After 2 games against top-tier team like UMass Lowell, Guy Godowski is happy with where the team is right now moving forward in the season, but made a point to say no one gets too excited on a 2-game losing streak.
One player who was excited to get some rest was our player of the week, Nate Jensen. The junior associate captain just missed that goal, drilling the post, but the defenseman showed his prowess on the defensive side of the puck as well in game 1. As you're going to watch right here, he's going to stop this 3-on-1 attack from UMass Lowell. Then later on, he's going to take a puck off the leg as he goes down to block this slap shot, sending him out of game 2. But hey, he's a hockey player, was back on the ice at Tuesday's practice.
So after the weekend, a lot of good, some bad from the Lions. They did lose the 2 games, so we're going to start and focus on the good.
Yeah, Mike, one thing you have to recognize is the penalty kill that the Lions did, especially against a team like UMass Lowell. They came in converting 21% of their power plays. Penn State held them to 1 of 10 in the series. Even Coach Godowski gave a lot of the credit to freshman David Thompson and junior Pat Cowdice in that department.
And even though he gave up 3 first-period goals, I'm chalking that up to jitters and highlighting the play of freshman Eamon McAdam in goal. He stopped 41 shots against the Riverhawks, made some great saves in the second and third, and Coach Godowski said it was a great step, and he really kept the team in the game through those periods. But while talking about the goalie play, we also have to focus on the bat as we move to that, and the goalies just couldn't cover up pucks in front of their zone. That led to a lot of problems. Both Matt Scoff and McAdam gave up goals off deflects. Lowell put in 3 total in the series. The two need to do a better job of cleaning up the misses. As you see in the clips, none of the 4 lines were able to clear the puck, and it led to another shot that gets loose in front of Scoff, leading to a Scott Wilson goal. Better clearing and covering will have the team having better chances.
Yeah, they can't get behind like that with the way the offense has been playing so far. Penn State got good pucks on the net, but they couldn't get any past the goaltender. Really no quality scoring chances. Going empty on the power play chances and being given the last goal. They faced 2 all-star goalies 2 weeks ago, but Doug Carr and Connor Hellebuck. The Lions need to execute better in the front moving forward, and that was Godowski's take from the weekend in Sounding Off. Brought to you by Ace Hardware, State College.
We played our best game of the year Friday night, which was the second game of the series. So I wouldn't mind getting right back at it and seeing if we can continue.
Well, they had to wait 2 weeks to get back on the ice, but when we come back, we'll take a look ahead at Penn State's next opponent, the Union Dutchmen.
This will be an important weekend for us to see if we have come, how far we have come in 1 year. So we are looking forward to this big time.
Welcome back. You just heard Coach Godowski talking about his next opponent. And you know what? The Nittany Lions won another crack at Union after dropping 2 last year to them up in Schenectady.
Penn State lost 2-0 and then 4-1 to get that tough team out of the ECAC in Union. But this year, they get the Dutchmen at home. And here's a look at what the Dutchmen have done so far this year on the J. Magai Mitsubishi matchup board.
The teams match up pretty well, except for the scoring. The Dutchmen are outscoring opponents an astounding 42-29. 3rd in the country in goals per game, a big test for the Penn State netminders. Penn State will have to do it on the defensive side of the puck and keep the strong penalty kill numbers up to limit the easy chances for Union. Penn State ranks 18th in the country in killing off power plays. Controlling penalties and winning the face-off circle will be keys for the Lions.
Well, Union has been red hot on the road this season, a 3-0-1 mark, rising this past week in the national rankings up to 17th in the country. That's good for 2nd place in the ECAC. Tough team, doing it on both ends of the ice. Penn State's coach, Guy Godowski, hasn't gotten a great chance to study Union, but knows the program, and taking into account last year's game, here's what the coach had to say about the upcoming matchup.
We did play them twice last year, and we looked forward ever since the end of that series, which was at Union. We've looked forward to this weekend because I thought we played very well, but we didn't get anything out of it. There were 2 very close games. We didn't score very many goals, 2-0, 2-1, something like that. So it was something that we really wanted to look back to see how far we've come. So this is going to be an important series for us in terms of looking to see if we've come a long way. And we've struggled right now with our consistency of our team.
They'll need to find that consistency if they want to stay competitive in this series against the Union, especially on the defensive side of the puck.
Yeah, and that goes back to limiting second chances. With a team that scores as well as Union, the last thing Penn State needs to give them is multiple opportunities on the net, a trend that happened way too much against UMass Lowell, as you see by the goals given up. Matthew Scoff, Eamon McAdam will be tested by the 2 Daniels for the Dutchmen. That'll be Carr and Campanini, who lead the team with 7 and 5 goals respectively.
Also dangerous on that team is 2nd liner Shane Godesphere, 2nd on a team in points and tied for 3rd with 3 goals from the defense position. He's one of the top players in the country, and Godowski said was the best skater that they faced last season.
But it has been Daniel Carr specifically dominating this year for the Dutchmen through 11 games so far this season. He leads the team in points with 14 and enters the season currently with 63 career goals.
Yeah, let's take a look at the stats on the season for Carr. Has 7 goals and 7 assists for the Dutchman. The forward also is familiar scoring against the Lions as he notched a goal last year up at Mesa Rink. Carr should be the main focus for the Lions when they take the ice against number 9 and the rest of the Union Dutchmen.
Coach Guy Godowski believes that he has the right players that can provide a problem for the scoring powers of Union, and mentioned that in his press conference, specifically pointing out the play of defensemen Patrick Cowdice and David Thompson on the power play.
But these are guys that have right now a lot of defensive chemistry together. The way they think like ways. I mean, I don't want to play against them. Like they are a tough pair to play against.
From a senior to a new face, freshman David Goodwin has had a major impact for the Nittany Lions, and our Elise Murkowski had a chance to catch up with him in this week's Player Profile.
I'm here on the ice with freshman forward David Goodwin. David, you scored a big goal on Friday's game against UMass Lowell, brought it to 2-3. How did that mean to you and to the team?
It was a big goal, a big time of the game. Obviously it wasn't enough, but it gave us some momentum and made the game closer, a little bit more exciting. So it was good to get that momentum into into the break this weekend and then carry it over to the Union series.
Playing a really competitive team like that, they're ranked very well in the country.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you guys, and how does that prepare you guys for playing the tough Big Ten schedule?
It's huge for us just to get that game that whole series, I guess, under our belt was really big. Like you said, they're a ranked team, so just to know that we can compete with them like we showed on Friday is, it's inspiring for us because we're going to be playing teams just like them and if not better in the future.
And as a freshman, what does it mean to what's the transition been coming into a Division I hockey team playing with a program like this?
It's been pretty good so far. Obviously, I wish we would be winning a little bit more, but I feel like I'm adjusting to the speed, and I've been playing with great players, other good freshmen, and the upperclassmen have been doing a really good job teaching me and stuff, and teaching the other freshmen. So I think it's been going pretty well, and I think it'll only get better.
Thanks very much, David. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Elise. And when we come back from the break, we'll break things down with the voice of Penn State Nittany Lion ice hockey, Brian Tripp. He'll give us some perspective from the broadcast booth and tell us a little about what he sees from the team coming forward this weekend. The Blue Line will be right back.
Yeah, we feel a lot better. It was nice to put that together against a very strong opponent. Absolutely. We have a lot of optimism because of it. We weren't very optimistic prior to that. We are now.
And welcome back to the Blue Line, your home for Penn State hockey. It's our pleasure now to bring in the voice of the men's ice hockey team, Brian Tripp. Brian, your first year with the team, the first year for Pegula, so you got to be a part of that special occurrence now. And you heard Coach Godowski. He's feeling confident about the team. What has this team done so far to show that it is here to compete in Division I hockey?
Well, Mike, I think they're taking a lot of what they did at the end of last season, and that was going on the road and beating a Michigan State, beating Wisconsin, and they're taking that success and translating it into success this season. Although they're just 3-5-1, they're starting to play better as the year goes on, and they're not intimidated by Pegula Ice Arena and their own fans. They're not overwhelmed by the circumstances that come with having a new building and such a great excitement this year going into the season. They're building on that, and there are a lot of freshmen, there are a lot of transfers that come in, and now this year they're starting to find their stride at the right time. So I think they're carrying the momentum from last year into this year.
And you mentioned that momentum. They're coming off what Godowski said was an instrumental series. Even in defeat against UMass Lowell, they did a lot of things that he liked. What do they take from a series like that into a weekend series against another good team in Union?
Well, UMass Lowell came in scoring on 10 of its last 27 power plays, and Penn State stayed very strong on the penalty kill. They've also been really sharp at the blue line defensively, whether it's a guy, Patrick Cowdice, David Thompson. Coach Godowski's talked a lot about those two. Luke Uhas played really well, Nate Jensen as well. Each defenseman, and it's a deep defensive core this year, has really held its own defensively, but they've also contributed offensively, and they're starting to develop that synergy that Guy Godowski talks about with some of the offensive forwards that are starting to allow this team to form what they're hoping is a well-oiled machine. And then in net with Matthew Scoff and then Eamon McAdam, who really grew in the game on Friday against UMass Lowell, I think you're starting to see a team that's starting to come together as one finally.
And you talk about that success as they're building that along. It's really coming at a key time as Big Ten play is right around the corner. I mean, Guy Godowski's praised the schedule, getting marquee opponents here. So what does this team need to do coming forward with opponents like Wisconsin on the schedule? What can they do to improve upon their play last year and maybe get some more wins?
Well, I think one thing that you can look at for this team right now, they have to find a way to get more offense. And obviously, they still have a lot of young players. Dylan Richard's been really good for them so far this season. David Goodwin's been really good so far this season, and those guys are freshmen. Get those guys in the mix at the same time your upperclassmen, the Casey Baileys, the David Glens, the Taylor Holstroms, Max Gardner, who's a little banged up. If you can get your freshmen and your transfers going at the same time that you have your guys that have been around the block, maybe not upperclassmen because this is the youngest team in Division I, but guys that at least had the experience last year, if you get them going at the same time, you'll really start to see the results.
And finally, what's your key looking at this weekend, Penn State facing Union at Pegula?
Guy Godowski talks a lot about measuring the success of their play compared to the success of their play in prior games. So the best way to look at how this weekend is going to go is to take a look back at what they accomplished against UMass Lowell, what they accomplished in prior games against Robert Morris, against Sacred Heart, and try to build on that success, not so much what you can do against Union, but what you can do to improve on what you've done this season.
All right, Brian, thanks a lot for stopping by. You can hear him and Tim King every game on News Radio 103, WRSC, and Penn State Sports Network. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Guys, now it's time to look at the Penn State women's hockey team. The Lions have struggled recently, but just snapped a 9-game losing streak, winning the second game of their road series with Linwood last weekend. Maybe that momentum can help them in the team's next game at home Saturday against Maine. But Penn State only 1-7 at Pegula, and their total record now sits at 3-12-1 in their second season at the Division I level. The problem this year has been closing out games, as the Lions have been outscored by 15 goals in the final period. Also struggling with the power play, one bright spot though for the Lions has been senior Taylor Gross, who leads the team with 6 goals and 10 points. And our Elise Murkowski caught up with team captain Taylor Gross to see how the Lions are progressing as the season goes on.
We're here on the ice with senior forward Taylor Gross. And Taylor, you came from a Division I school, UConn. You transferred here. How's your experience helped some of the younger girls, and how have you helped lead them?
I think my experience, as well as the experience from Jenna Welt and Nicole Panicha, has really helped in leading the younger girls, just by being through certain situations that not a lot of people, especially with such a young team, have been through, and being able to guide such a young team through experiences that they haven't been through yet.
You guys have had some leads coming into the third period. You've been real competitive lately. What do you guys need to improve on to keep that lead and win some games?
Yeah, I think we're doing a lot of things right, but right now we need to improve on our consistency throughout the entire game. And I think once we're able to get that, I think we'll start winning some games.
Now, playing in Pegula, what's that like for you? It's been a big transition, obviously, but how does that help you guys, and how do you guys feel playing on this ice?
It's unreal. Obviously, the gift is just amazing, and I think that playing in such a great atmosphere and such a great donation just makes the experience even better.
All right, thanks very much, Taylor.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
When we come back, it's time to go around the conference as we check out how Penn State stacks up against the rest of the Big Ten.
This is the best place in the world. It is, and that means so much. I love it. It matters so much to me. It's a big part of why I came here. I've heard all about the Penn State passion, but I've really learned it's more valuable than I could even say.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. Before we take a look around the conference, it's time to take some time and recap some big plays from last week, starting with the Aaron's amazing save of the week.
And going back to Game 2 against UMass Lowell, this week the honors go to Eamon McAdam. Monster save there in the second, moving across the crease for the pad save and stopping a power play. He was stuck all the way with this play, as you see it again, getting it right there and blocking the pad save from Adam Chappie, who already scored 2 goals in this series. Save with that play, turned away a second shot as well. Great job bouncing back after a shaky first.
And now it's time for the Cove Crunch. Hit of the week coming from sophomore Kenny Brooks right there up against the boards. The Vegas native getting Derek Arnold against the boards right at center ice. This one drew a penalty, but also the ire of Coach Godowski. Said after the game he didn't see why it was a penalty and had a conversation with the refs. Hey man, looks good to me, Kenny.
Also looking good is the Big Ten. First year as a conference, and they already feature 3 teams inside the top 20 for a 3-team lead. Ohio State sitting just on the outside as well.
We take a look around the Big Ten Conference standings right now. Minnesota still on top, but the Gophers were knocked off in their last game against Minnesota Duluth 6-2. That tightened things up with them and Michigan, who swept the weekend series after falling from number 2 in the country. Ohio State falls in next, followed by Penn State's first Big Ten opponent, the 12th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers. No one has played in the conference yet, but that'll change this weekend as top-ranked Minnesota hosts Wisconsin and rivals Ohio State and Michigan square off in a home-and-home. I know, Mike, I'm really excited to see the first Big Ten Conference matchup between Ohio State and Michigan on the ice. Also this week, Michigan State hosts Guy Godowski's old team in Princeton, and Penn State, of course, hosting Union.
And Penn State bringing another team in Pegula, and it's been a real treat for any fans that have not yet to get a chance to see the arena, featuring amenities for both the fans and the players. Plenty of things to see in a brand new $90 million facility. And every week on this show, we're going to take a time out at the end to give a Pegula spotlight and highlight some of the best features. Walking into Pegula Ice Arena, one of the first things fans are drawn to is the massive concrete student section, raucous when filled. The bleachers are the steepest allowed by code to fit a maximum capacity of 1,000, and the views? Students will get a variety of ice angles depending on their arrival, and if you're in the top row, it's not a bad vantage, just watch your head. The section also is located behind the opposing goalie twice per game, and Guy Gadowski is singing the praises of the section and its inhabitants.
They're huge and they're so much fun. They are really make these games so much fun, and they're so motivating for us. It's fantastic.
The arena doors open nice and early as the women start their action at 2 before the men take on Union at 7. You know, it's an exciting time. Second-ranked opponent coming into Pegula this season, Mike.
Yeah, last week the team took some steps forward, as you heard from Guy Gadowski and the players. He believes that his squad is ready to make that leap. They did good things without getting the wins against UMass, but against Union coming in here, another team that's ranked, another team at home, maybe they shake off some of those jitters from opening Pegula with a big team and the big crowds and really can use that in their favor this time against a team like Union.
Yeah, we saw a lot of positive things against UMass Lowell. You know, the penalty kill was good. They just got to clean up some of the rebounds from Scoff and everything like that. Clear the garbage out of the front of the net against a high-scoring Union offense. That's going to be key this week.
And what it will also help is this is a perfect lead into the Wisconsin play. They open Big Ten play coming out of this weekend's game. So that'll be another key. So they go and hit that on a good note. So Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving break, Union is in Pegula. We'll be excited to see those games there. And for Andrew Callista, Mike Tressa, that'll do it for this week on the Blue Line. We'll see you all next week.